YouTube, Niner Empire, what is going down? Welcome back to another video. Some quick pregame thoughts before week 4 kicks off. 49ers at home versus the New England Patriots. Obviously 49ers 1-2, coming off of 2 back-to-back losses, one to the Minnesota Vikings, and then obviously the most recent last week to the LA Rams, where they had a classic choke job. A game they should have won, a game that was lopsided in terms of talent on teams. The 49ers had so much more talent than the Rams last week, and again found a way to choke the game away and lose. So moving on from that, obviously it's a new week. The 49ers have to get in the win column today. They're playing one of the bottom feeder teams in the NFL, in the New England Patriots. Obviously, New England had a very impressive Week 1 win against the Cincinnati Bengals. But, I mean, look, at the end of the day, when it comes to the 49ers and the New England Patriots, there is a clear-cut favorite in this game, and that team is the 49ers. They cannot lose games that they're expected to win. And they've already lost 2 games. The 49ers should be 3-0. Really, I mean, if not 3-0, at least 2-1. They should have at least beat the Rams last week. So they have to get in the win column. This is a good game to get back into the win column. The 49ers should win by 7+ points, maybe even 10+ points. There's really no excuse for that. Injuries going into today. Obviously, George Kittle will be back today. Deebo Samuel is likely to play and expected to play. Trent Williams, there's optimism that he will play. He's expected to play, I guess you could say, but bearing any setback in pregame warm-ups will be the determining factor on if he does play or not. So I would expect everybody to be out there, Deebo and Trent Williams. Yeah, I mean, like I said, this is a game that the 49ers absolutely have to win. I mean, there's no excuse to not win this game. You're at home, first home game since week 1, obviously, when they took on the Jets on Monday Night Football. So I would imagine Levi's is going to be rocking like it usually is. Still in awe of the week 1 game I was able to go to. The stadium is amazing. The atmosphere in Levi's is slim to none. And yeah, I mean, what a great fan base and stadium, and the good stadium, good fan base that the 49ers have. So again, I expect the Niners fan base to be rocking, and obviously the 49ers have to go out here and get a convincing win against a New England team that's, again, one of the bottom feeder teams in the National Football League. So in terms of, keys to win and whatnot, I mean, I think it's pretty simple. Run the football, run the football. I think Jordan Mason's in for a big day today. I think Brock Purdy will have another decent game today. Obviously, with Juwan Jennings' career game last week, almost a franchise type of game for Juwan Jennings last week. With Deebo back, I don't know. I mean, I would fully expect Juwan Jennings to still be pretty heavily involved in the 49ers offense. But obviously, with Deebo Samuel back, there may be some targets that go Deebo's way, and obviously, Brandon Ayuk's still healthy. This could be a perfect game for Brandon Ayuk to finally come around and do something. I think Brandon Ayuk will have a decent game. I think Brandon Ayuk today will probably have one of his, probably the best game that he's had this year, and obviously that's not, Brandon Ayuk really hasn't done nothing in the first 3 weeks of the NFL season so far. So I would expect Brandon Ayuk to have a decent day, probably his best game of the year yet. And then, like I said, with Deebo Samuel, expected to be playing, will play, I guess you could say. And then, Juwan Jennings and whatnot. This with George Kittle back as well. So, I mean, the 49ers are getting reinforcements back. Good news with the defense. Jordan Elliott, who was carted off of the practice field earlier this week, was at practice the following day. So he just had an ankle sprain, and so it's nothing serious, right? Like typically when you hear about somebody getting carted off of the practice field, it's serious. But John Lynch mentioned that the cart wasn't necessarily like a mandatory type of thing with the Jordan Elliott injury. I think he just decided to go out off the practice field on a cart, so it wasn't nearly as bad as what was initially reported on. So Jordan Elliott, he actually has a chance to play today. At this time, I don't know if he will play. We'll have to see what the final injury report says ahead of the game. But good news is that Jordan Elliott, who is going to be Javon Hargrave's replacement, he's not dealing with a super severe season-ending type of injury. It's just an ankle sprain. So that's the good news with Jordan Elliott. Other than that, obviously, Hufanga made his season debut last week. I know D. Winters his practice window was open. I'm not sure if he's playing today or not. I don't know if he's active or not, but something to keep an eye out on as well. D. Winters, obviously it's D. Winters is more of a depth piece right now. But Devondre Campbell has not been playing great for the 49ers, and I could definitely see D. Winters getting some more playing time if Devondre Campbell continues to struggle. So we'll see what happens with that. But, yeah, like I said, man, I know with, Charvarius Ward, too, he wasn't necessarily fully healthy last week, wasn't playing like he was fully healthy. So, yeah, we'll see what happens. But at this time, the entire defense is pretty much healthy. Of course, besides Javon Hargrave and Dre Greenlaw and whatnot. But aside from those guys, this defense is pretty healthy. So I would like to see a better called game from Nick Sorensen today. I thought there was some things that he did last week where he struggled on, called some different coverages that the Rams made us pay for, and I think I'm not blaming everything on Nick Sorensen with the defensive struggles, but I definitely think that it's kind of like a group type of thing. I don't think the players are playing up to par. This pass rush needs to wake up as well. This pass rush, I know last week, Bosa had a couple sacks last week, which was good to see and whatnot. Or maybe that was was that the Minnesota game where he had 2 sacks? I think it was the Minnesota game. I don't know. Either way, the point I'm trying to make here is the 49ers have to get the pass rush has to get to the quarterback. When the pass rush gets to the quarterback, it opens up so many opportunities for takeaways within the secondary and the linebacking core and whatnot. So pass rush, get home, get to Jacoby Brissett. Jacoby Brissett has actually done a pretty good job of protecting the ball and making smart decisions. So get to the quarterback, force New England to throw the football, get takeaways, come out with a convincing win over a bad New England team, and move on next week. So, with that being said, just want to come on here and give some thoughts before the game. My score prediction for this game, I'm going to go 49ers 27, New England Patriots 16. I think the 49ers get a convincing win here. Maybe that's a little too high. I'm gonna pivot here. I'm gonna go 24-10 49ers win. I think the 49ers win by 2 touchdowns. I think Brandon Ayuk finally gets it going. A big game from Jordan Mason. So let me know your guys' score predictions in the comments down below. As always, go Niners. We got to get back into the win column, get to 500, move on to next week, continue into football games. We've got a tough stretch of games coming up after the next 2-3 games. Chiefs, Cowboys are within those teams that will be playing over about the next month, a little over a month of football. So got to get back in the win column. It starts today with the New England Patriots at home. As always, go Niners. I'll see you guys in the next one.